I'm live now. I just am waiting for the peeps to come into the room because we are live, it looks like. I don't know. Can anyone hear me? I see activity is happening right now. Hello, 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 everybody. And welcome back to Star Lordess Podcast. Sounds so corny. It reminds me of those old school commercials. I love that melody. Anyway, hello. I see Amanda. You're in the chat already. Happy birthday, sweetie. Looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Hello. Hello. Are you guys excited for this evening's show? We have an amazing lady who will be joining us. She is a hypnotherapist, and I just can't wait for her to get on here and we can get started on this conversation. I can't wait to hear what she has to say because, like all of you, I will be learning a lot from her when she comes on. So I'm not sure where she is, but hopefully she'll be joining us soon. Hello, Mama Bear. Nice to see you. Yes, you made it, didn't you? You finally got the time. Well, you had to text me for the time change, but yeah, you're on here. And Cheryl Johnson is on here. Yes, looking forward to it as well. We're waiting for um, this person to join the group here, and I'm not sure where she is right now, but I'm hoping she's going to be coming on right away, and and then we'll take it from there. But yeah, nice to see all of you. How are you doing? I'm just reading some of your chat comments here. It's nice to see all of you. Glad you came out. How was your weekend? How was everybody's weekend? I'm just wondering. It is Sunday evening, and I'm not sure what's happening here, but I am just waiting. Oh, mind you, it is not 7 o'clock yet, so I guess we have some time before our guest arrives because she's not expecting to come on until 7 o'clock. So we are good. Hi, everybody. So your weekend is good and getting better. Is that ready? Is that right, Tim? So everybody say hello to everyone's favorite moderator in the chat. I'm hungry now. Make sure you go and subscribe to his great cooking channel. Oh, so yeah, Amanda, you had a good weekend? Good, I'm glad. Hi, Ruth. How you doing, sweetie? How's the weather in New York? Yes, and how is the weather in Florida, Mum Bear? We're pretty mild over here, so um, I can't wait to hear from all of you because you're all over the place. And so I want to hear what's the weather like? Is it just us that got so lucky for some beautiful weather, or are you guys getting beautiful weather as well? Hello, Tiffany. I see you in the chat as well. So, are you guys excited about talking about hypnotherapy tonight? I know I sure am. New York is rainy. Okay. Rain's better than snow, I guess. In the Midwest and pretty okay here for late January. That's good. That's good. Exactly. As long as we're getting some pretty mild weather over here, and as long as the weather stays mild for January, February, I think we're all good. Very nice, a little chilly in Florida, hey? Yeah, okay, Mama Bear, I understand. I understand. At least it's not raining like it is in New York. Oh, you're in the UK and it's cold there. No snow yet. Well, yeah, it seems like around the globe we're not dealing with a lot of snow or extreme temperatures. We had a little bit of a cold snap, but that's to be expected. It is winter after all. Yeah, there's a lot of people. We got 23 people in the chat already. Let's see, what is the time now? 7:02. So our guest should be joining us any minute now. I'll keep an eye over here to see if she's letting me know she is available. Anyone from Texas? Love that state. Yes. Yes, we are supporting Texas 100%. For sure. So it looks like our guest is ready to join us now. Welcome, my next guest, who's an amazing lady, joining us from Manitoba, Canada, Tannis. Here she is. Tannis!
Hello.
Hello! The chat has been waiting for you because I think
Awesome.
they have, they're very curious, as am I, to find out a little bit more about you. I know that you're a hypnotherapist, and I've known you for a little while here, but I really don't know 100% what you do or how you got started doing this. So, can you fill us in a little bit and let us know a little bit about your background, how you got into this?
For sure. So I'm a, clinical hypnotherapist and a life coach. And maybe I'll start with the coaching part. People
Yes.
know people know a little bit more about life coaching. It's been around for a while, and
Yeah.
so people will
Mhm.
visit for all kinds of reasons, whether or not they want, some help with communication or relationships or career or any host of issues. And I got into that really. I've been, coaching and leading people for over 25 years. I hate to say that out loud, by the way. That's that sounds like a really long time.
Yeah. No one's judging here. No one is judging.
And it's really my passion. I really learned early on that you get the best out of people when you really see people and you get to know people behind the position. And if you're there and you understand people and help people through good times as well as tough times, you really can work together and achieve some really great things.
True.
So that's sort of my coaching background. I've got some training and so forth behind that, but really my greatest learning, the juicy stuff, has really come from my lived experience, I'll say.
Ah.
And then on the hypnotherapy side, and we're just going to go really personal here immediately.
Oh, dude.
So how I ended up studying hypnotherapy was that I actually was a client of a hypnotist.
Oh.
And I, had occasion to be speaking in public quite often in former roles. And every time I did it, I would just get a lump in my throat. The jitters would just get the best of me. And I just really, really dreaded doing it. So I went to see a hypnotherapist myself,
Mhm.
and it was just remarkable.
Oh, is that
So
right? Mhm.
yeah, so she took me on a journey all the way back to where my fear of speaking came about.
Right.
And it was just so incredible and so clear. And it took me all the way back to when I was a small child. And I'm going to say probably as early as 5, 6, around that time.
Okay.
And I grew up in a family where there was a lot of verbal abuse.
Okay.
And mhm. And so, constantly hearing, be quiet, don't
Mhm.
speak up,
Makes
you know,
sense.
not able to share and
Yeah,
be heard and be seen.
and be validated for
That
your
that's right. And
contribution.
so, this is true of not just my own story, but of so many other stories, right? The things that
True.
we see, that we experience, the conditioning, whether it's conscious or unconscious,
True.
the hurts we go through, the trauma that we go through, all of these things we carry with us into
Mhm.
our adult life. And they show up in different ways. And
Mhm.
so, long story short, my time with the hypnotherapist was so transformative for me. And it really, helped me to see clearly what was happening for me. And I won't go so far as to say I love public speaking now. I don't, but I do it. And I realize that it's important just to show up as me, and just showing up as me is good enough.
Well, that explains a lot. When I first spoke to you about coming live on the show, and you had said, and I said, if you're comfortable with that, and you said, I'm not, but I'm going to do it. And now I understand where that comment came from. So
Yeah.
thanks for that. Yeah, that's cool. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Makes so
because
much.
we all, and this is part of, I guess, where the hypnotherapy and the coaching, comes hand in hand, is
Mhm.
that you
Right.
can start to unpack these things and then work
Yeah.
through them. And sometimes it's not as difficult as what you think, right?
Mhm.
When you start realizing and start building your self-confidence and self-trust, then you
Right.
realize, we're kind of all in the same boat.
True.
Right? We're
That's
just
so
all
true.
all
Yeah.
people going through our own experiences. So
Exactly. And there's no need to be self-conscious because everybody's got their thing. And
yeah.
once you realize that and fully embrace that, it makes it easier, I think, to share your story, go forward. Usually, I've had that experience where I've talked to people and they were really quiet, and then I keep talking. I think to myself, maybe I shared too much, but actually, they end up saying, "Thanks for saying that," because now I feel like I understand you better, and I can understand the things that you went through because I went through something similar. It sort of helps with the bonding experience almost, right?
Absolutely. Shared experiences are
Yeah.
are so important, right?
It's
And
huge. It's really
yeah,
strong.
and I,
Mhm.
I think that's, sort of at the foundation of the work that I do, is providing that safe space for people to share their stories
Mhm.
without the judgment.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And similar to what I do in my, tarot therapy, it's something I do where it's me one on one. And the stories they share with me are not things that they would ever maybe say to their family or their partners or their best friends, even because they're coming to somebody who's impartial and they don't have to worry, right? That it's going to get back to anybody or anything, or somebody's going to judge them. So, yeah, I totally understand that. I have a lot of respect for people who do the hypnosis thing. I have to tell you, years ago, my sister and I got into hypnosis, but we were using audio tapes, and we tried to do it with the audio tapes, and it was mainly for past life regression.
Mhm.
So I don't know, have you ever done past life regressions?
I've done it for some friends.
Mhm.
It's not really my chosen field. I know that, some people really enjoy that aspect, and I've done it for myself as a client, but it's
Okay.
not something that I practice. I tend to focus more, I'll say, on the end of trauma healing, and stress
Okay.
and anxiety, that kind of thing, self confidence, and all the things that kind of roll into that ball.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because you do doing to help people. I think maybe the past life regression thing is more for, like you said, for yourself, for fun, for entertainment, or so
Yeah.
forth. I found it really fascinating when I delved into it for a short period of time. It was really interesting, and some of the things that I learned at that time, and even though this was years ago, I still carry with me. I always remember that, and I always think like, you know, things that make you go, wonder. So,
Absolutely. I mean, I have to admit, I was a little bit skeptical. And when I was doing my training,
mm,
we went on a regression journey. And it was very fascinating to me because I didn't really expect anything. And basically, my journey was that I was, wearing some type of uniform, and I was, back in one of the world wars, and I was helping veterans heal from trauma. But I
Mm.
wasn't a doctor and I wasn't a nurse, but I was at their bedside and I was speaking with them. And I thought, how interesting is that, that I'm doing similar
Right.
things, and I do work with veterans now in this
Oh,
capacity as a coach and a hypnotherapist. So when that
yeah.
happened, it really sort of brought chills to me that,
Mhm.
maybe there is something to this.
Exactly, like, my experience when my sister and I were hypnotizing a good friend of ours, this guy Jerry, and he had a lot of back problems, and he was quite young. There was no reason for him to be having, I mean, other than the fact that he was a pretty tall fellow. But we put him under, and he was, and then he started crying, and we had to pull him out. And he said that he had a back memory. Oops, I guess
I lost you. I lost you there.
we lost you there for a second. That was fun. And
I can't promise it won't happen again.
right, because you explained to me before about the books. And, but anyway, getting back to the Jerry thing, he came out of this, hypnosis, and he said that he had a memory of being a slave and being whipped, and
Wow.
so and it was right where his back injuries were. And he said ever since he was a kid, he always had pain in that area of the back. So once he had that experience for some reason, it ended up helping him to maybe heal that because he didn't have the back problems, not in that area anymore. So I was like, wow, maybe there is something to this in terms of healing. Maybe if you learn where the source is, you can actually, heal this type of thing. So,
I
any,
don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
yeah.
I have
Mhm.
experienced it, in different forms, not through past life regression, but,
Right.
through, witnessing people make connections to
Mm.
something that has happened to them,
Yeah.
and physical pain leaves them following the release. It's
Yes.
really incredible, right? Like,
That makes
trauma, pain, it all lives within us, right?
it totally does. When you are hypnotizing people, it's not like you're are you doing this?
No,
No? Okay.
no.
Just wondering because everybody has their own techniques, right?
Yeah. I think the fun part of what I
Mhm,
do is demystifying some of, what people believe about hypnosis.
mhm,
And, there's some fear and mystery that surrounds it still, where people think that, you fall under this spell and I can
mhm.
make you do anything that I,
Yeah, exactly.
which
Like
is, so far from the truth. The reality is that hypnosis is just a focused state of concentration.
it makes sense.
Um, yeah, it it takes you to a place of, relaxation, and where you can concentrate without your conscious mind
Right,
jumping in and interrupting all the time. And you only will do or say or adopt any suggestions, that fit with you, that you really want to.
right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I remember well, I think where we got all these ideas of "Cluck like a chicken" and so forth, it was from places or people like Ravine, and do you remember, Ravine used to come and do this he did a tour, North America, and he would bring people up on stage. There was Ravine, and then there was the other one with another or I can't remember, but they were very popular back in the day,
Yeah.
and then I actually went to one of the, uh, concerts or whatever you want to call them. And I was brought up on stage, but then he kicked me off in the middle of it because he said I didn't go under. I
Yes.
wasn't stombolistic, so I didn't go under. But the rest of the crowd up there was clucking like a chicken and doing all these things that he commanded. It's interesting. I think it makes good for good entertainment, whether or not whatever's going on there. I'm really not sure. I mean, were those people who are clucking like a chicken, were they really under, or were they just playing a part? I don't know. Right?
I think there's probably a combination of both.
Is that
You know,
right?
I, for me and the work that I do, that would be really unethical to even attempt. something like that.
Yeah.
But, I think there's people who also want to be part of the show and play along. And
Yeah.
then there's some people that are highly suggestible, but it's in the realm of what they find acceptable, right? Like they wouldn't be embarrassed to be up there. They would think it was fun.
Cool. Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
you were probably like, I'm not just like gonna give myself over to, a deep sense of embarrassment up here. And so, you got
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why I snapped out of it because it was for the first part, but then it was just like when it started getting ridiculous, I didn't comply. And so that must have been why, right? And I
yeah.
know that a lot of people who swear by they've gotten the
Mhm. And so, I mean, it starts with a desire, right? A desire to want to make a change of some kind. And, human nature is that when there's a real desire and we're willing to put a little bit of work and effort in, then we often see results. And the same thing happens with hypnosis. It can be a process. And I don't want to geek out here on the science, but it takes some time to what we call create some new neural pathways in your brain.
right.
And I always like to use this example when I'm talking with my clients that, if you have been driving down um, a road where it's muddy and it's been raining for days and you've created some deep ruts in the road, it's
Mhm.
hard to pull the car out. And that's what your thoughts are like when you've been, doing something over and over or thinking about something over and over, it becomes a well-worn road. And
Right.
so what hypnosis does is creates a new path for you, but
Mhm.
you need to drive that path a
Right.
few times before it becomes a path that you feel comfortable on.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense because I used to follow Dr. Joe Dispenza, from the
Yeah.
brain technique. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I've listened to many, many, many videos from him, and what he's talking about makes so much sense. It
Mhm.
absolutely makes sense. And I feel that for a lot of people, like I use meditation, which is kind of
Mhm.
a form of hypnosis.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I have changed my brain waves and all this other stuff too via doing that. So I do understand that this stuff really, really works. I have to say myself, other than back in the day, my experiences with hypnosis, which was, pretty interesting to say the least. But I went by a different path, like the meditation path, and it worked for me. But
Mhm.
absolutely, like I love trying all of this stuff because
Mhm.
I feel that everything that I try either gives me the experience that I need to move forward on my path, or it actually really, really helps in a tremendous way. So either way, I'm always down for that.
Yeah, I mean, what feed our brains, right, depends on
Mhm.
the quality of our thoughts and our health,
Yeah,
really, and
yeah,
the quality of our life, right? So,
right.
we sometimes I like to say that we're actually hypnotized all the time by things that we don't mean to put into our brain, right? So we're fed information all the time
Right.
through, television and
Social
you know
media,
social media and billboards and
good.
all kinds of
Mhm,
things that become part of our belief system that we're not even
mhm.
aware of.
So you have actually helped people with, like, mental health issues, PTSD, and all this other stuff? Like, you've actually helped them overcome their blocks and go on to, not need medication and things like that? Have you,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
been able to do that?
certainly. I'm always really cautious when I talk about this. I'm not a medical doctor. I certainly don't make any diagnoses or anything
Right,
like
right.
that. Having said that, in addition to my private practice, I'm also a member of the care team at Open Mind Health, which is a telehealth care system run
Mhm.
by a brilliant and caring doctor by the name of Dr. Craig Beach. He's a psychiatrist who, is a forerunner in bringing traditional care, like psychiatry and social work and all those good things, together with holistic therapies like hypnotherapy and music therapy, um, all kinds of cool things. And so a lot of my clients will come to me and they've already been in traditional care for a long time.
Mhm.
And they find that hypnotherapy works to sort of, I'm going to say, boost them and get them to the finish line even faster.
Uh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So, say, for example, if someone was on medication for PTSD or something, in addition to, they would come to you and you would help them maybe get to a point where, like, hopefully in a perfect world, they wouldn't need the medication anymore because they would actually be over the trauma and,
sure. Or
uh,
or reduce it and feel a greater sense of balance within.
right, right.
Recently I worked with a retired veteran who had done two tours,
Mm,
and he was suffering from such terrible PTSD. And he was in traditional care under a psychiatrist or psychologist,
yeah,
and it was helping for sure. And he was on medication, but he felt
mm,
it only got him so far.
yeah,
And what I was able to offer him was sort of um, bringing mind and body back together. Because
right,
one of the beautiful things that hypnotherapy does is that it calms the nervous system. And
right,
so he was able to sort of revisit some of the trauma from a safe place and
right,
allow himself to get back into a calm state. He
right,
started sleeping better. He started relying less on sleeping pills and that kind of
right.
stuff, to get through the day.
Well, it seems like a necessary aid in a world that we're living in right now where there's so many people who have mental health issues, definitely stress disorders, anxiety, and everything else. That I feel that anything that we can offer people in those situations is definitely a step in the right direction, for sure.
Yeah,
Because
and if you think about even, if you feel, and I hate to use the word healthy or unhealthy, or I'm really cautious about that. But we are bombarded with so much today. Everything is expected to be instant, and you're expected to keep up with everything and everyone. And I mean, that in itself, creates a sense of stress within, right?
anxiety, big time, yes.
Yeah, and just taking time for yourself to get back into balance, and
Hmm.
a timeout, a healthy timeout, whatever that is, whether it's
Hmm.
hypnotherapy or meditation or running or whatever it is, you know for this to become sort of part of your ongoing self-care package.
Absolutely, yes. Like I said, every little thing that can help us along the journey to make it an easier situation. And you're absolutely right. Media and everything else, there's people are being barred at night, and it's not like before we had cell phones. When we weren't around, people couldn't reach us. Like if we were not home and they were calling our home phone, we were not there. So we didn't know. Now we know what's going on 24/7. Friends, family, the celebrities, the
Yeah.
world, everything. We're constantly getting notified. It's stress inducing in itself. Just
Yeah, I mean, if you think back, to when we were kids, your world was so small. You had one news channel, and it was sort
yeah,
of like the local or nearest city channel for me in my case.
yeah,
And I mean, now when you think about the information, with
true,
global news coming
true.
at you all the time,
Yeah.
and most of it's negative,
And we have
right?
access to it from all corners of the globe right now, right? It
Exactly. It's
it
it's overwhelm, and all of that overwhelm sits and rests, in mind
mhm,
body somewhere.
yeah. Exactly, and, what you do, from what I understand, you can help people like you do remote, right? So you can help people across the globe.
Mhm.
So you can like, if they contact you and wanna have a session with you, you can do that remotely, which is amazing. There's I feel when it comes to the world we live in right now and what we have access to, you and I can do something like this, right? We
Yeah.
can talk I can talk to people all over the world just like you can, and within an instant, which is good. And we can also help and aid people from all over the globe. But the downside to that is that it's too much information. It's overwhelming and it's anxiety inducing. So, what you do is really important to the world we live in right now, because there's far too many people who are dependent way too much on the medical system to, here's a pill for this, here's a pill for that, here's a pill for this, and you're going to be on it for the rest of your life because there is no other option. But I feel that the world we're living in right now, where we're turning I don't know if you know too much about astrology, but I've been very much into this whole Pluto movement, and I feel that the world we're moving into, the age of Aquarius, is going to require people like yourself to be out there to help people, because we can't sustain ourselves any longer as humans going on the way that we are without help. We need help. And what you can offer can, like, pretty much give somebody relief immediately.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. We are
Yeah.
oversaturated and we need to dial it back and, you
Yes.
know, get into sort of cleansing our minds and our bodies,
Right.
in order to survive, really,
Mm,
and be healthy and, to enjoy this experience here. And,
exactly.
that's another thing that I love about hypnosis is that it shifts your state of mind in a positive direction. It shifts you away from the overwhelm and puts you into a place, of balance so that you can, see all the good things and not be
Exactly.
overwhelmed, by the negative things.
Exactly. Also, too, maybe if you're comfortable sharing, you must have some interesting stories you've like to share. If you would like to share, please do.
Sure.
I
Okay.
always like interesting stories.
Okay. Well, with out giving anybody away or, giving away any, real
No
person,
names, no names.
no names, no names. Um, I've had so many fascinating things that I've witnessed, and any time that I can help shift somebody into a more positive state of mind or being, it's really rewarding and it's really big. um, you know and there's different levels of big, of course, but we are all on our own journey,
Mhm.
and each of our stories is important. So with that said, I think one of the stories that would stand out in my mind is I had worked with a woman in her 30s who had been in traditional cognitive behavioral therapy for about 8 years. And she loved her therapist and felt that her therapist had really helped her, but her therapist, came to the end of the road and basically said, "We're divorcing each other now because,
Wow.
I don't think I can do anything more for you."
Yeah.
And so she came to me with, this one thing that she just sort of couldn't resolve for herself. And that was the idea of having a child. She is happily married, and her husband just couldn't decide whether or not they wanted to have children. And what was holding her back was her own childhood trauma and the parenting that she had received from her parents. And she was
Mm,
deeply fearful of repeating the pattern, essentially.
mhm,
And
mhm,
so, we had, I think, 3 or 4 sessions only. And she contacted me shortly after we concluded. And her own description, now this isn't my description, but her own description was, you cleared the trauma from my womb. and I want you to know that I'm pregnant,
Are you kidding?
and I'm over the moon excited.
Oh my goodness, you must have
And
felt
then
so
yeah,
good.
yeah, and then a few
Wow.
months later, opened my email and there was this
Mhm.
beautiful photo of her and her baby that she had literally just delivered, and all it said is, "I'm happy."
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is beautiful. What a great
yeah,
story that
yeah,
is. And I'm sure you have more. And doesn't it feel good to know
yeah,
that, you put out this effort? This is something you were obviously, you had a calling to do this, you did it. And look at the people you're helping because somebody helped you, right? And
correct.
that's what gave you the motivation to do it. Very
Mhm.
much like me with the channel. I went through a tough time and I used to watch the tarot channels on YouTube. I didn't even know they existed till I came across them, and they helped me through a tough time, and I said, "When I got out of it, I am going to do that because if I can even help 2 people to do what they did for me, I'm good." And I went out there and I did it with the purest of intentions, and I ended up helping tons of people, and here I am now. It's the same thing with you, and it's great. I think there's gotta be more people. I think there is a lot of people out there like us. Do you think so, Tannis?
Oh, I'm
I
sure
think
there
there's
are.
a lot of
I'm
people
sure
out
there are.
there.
Yeah,
We
I'm
have to
sure
form a coalition.
there are. Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, Star, when you said, with the purest intentions, right?
Mm,
And that's how I sort of operate within my business is I hate to even use the word business. But
yeah,
it is what I do. But it
yeah,
it really is with the intention of helping people. And
mhm,
I really love hearing people's stories. And,
mhm,
people will say, well, isn't it stressful, to hear problems all day? And I don't think of it that way. I think about it as an opportunity to, help another human being get
absolutely,
along, get along better in this world.
yeah, and I think that's why you and I hit it off from the first time we met is because we're both like that. I'm the same way. I love hearing people's stories, and if there's anything I can do to help, I try to jump in and aid and help them in any way that I can. And it's so interesting because I did not know this about you with the whole speaking thing and your background until just today. When I first met you, I thought like, wow, this woman is very intelligent. She's well spoken and very like poised. Like I would never have guessed in a million years that you ever would have had trouble speaking up. But I guess that's a testament to the person who helped you.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never had an issue, one on one or in small groups, but you put me
Mhm.
behind a microphone or on a podium, and I mean, that's a different story. And so, for me, that was my challenge to overcome. But where
Oh,
the hypnotherapy really helped was that it really gave me this solid understanding of, hey, this happened before I even knew what was going on.
yeah,
This isn't just a fear that came out of nowhere. There's a real
right.
reason.
There's
For it.
always a root cause for these things,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, I fully believe that as well. Meditation can also help with those things too, if you know what you're doing. Again, like I started doing meditation a few years back, and I got addicted to it. Actually, I was spending way too much time in meditation, and people were not seeing me anymore. I was just, doing it all the time. It is a little bit addictive because it makes you feel so good, and you
That's
start
right.
realizing things, you start living in the moment, and it's an amazing experience. And I just wish I could be in meditation all the time. I guess if I was a Buddhist monk, I could be in meditation all the time. Hey, maybe it's something to think about for my future. But I really enjoy that feeling of peace and calm, and I get that energy from you. From again, going back from the very first time I met you, I got that sense of peace and calm from you. That you just it's like, wow, this woman is like really spiritual. Like, did she go, eat, pray, love? You know that movie? It's like, did she go on a spiritual retreat or something? But you're so calm, and I know you've in your different job, and you're amazing and everybody loves you and people just love everywhere. It's like, I don't know, like, if anybody on this planet had a problem with Tannis, I would think you're the problem. This woman is not the problem.
Aw,
She's really peaceful. She's really awesome, and I consider it an honor to know you, and then after meeting you, I find out all this incredible stuff about your background and this thing that you're doing, and I'm just like, wow, blown away. You continue to surprise us all.
aw, that's kind of you, thank you.
Yeah.
Along those lines, here's a funny little story. So I had a client one day, and she went to start her car after the session, and it was dead. And she felt this sense of, dread and panic rise up.
Mm,
And, you know, I, said, no problem, right? Like, we'll handle this. And we called the neighbor, and he came and he boosted the car, and she was on her way. And she said to me, "Why are you so calm? Like, how do you do this?" And
right.
and, honestly, I benefit every time I do a hypnosis session for someone else. It's like it boosts my sense of calm and balance. It's
Right.
incredible. It's just like this wonderful reciprocal calm energy, healing energy that passes back and forth. And I don't know if you experience that
Yeah,
too.
I absolutely do. I think it's the exchange of energy, the give and take. There's always that, it goes around, right? And
Yeah.
it is beautiful. I do feel energized sometimes after I've just done a reading for somebody, especially if that session went really, really well and I felt like I really got through to the person. I just feel really energized. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's, oh, I have trouble actually coming down afterwards.
Yeah, it's
So
it's like
yeah,
it's like
totally.
boosting each other's, feelings
Energy.
of
Yeah,
goodness.
feels for sure. Yes,
Yeah,
goodness, I like that one. Goodness. Just tons and tons of goodness. Just
yeah.
being spread around, that's always a good thing. But, so you said you've been doing this 25 years or
I've been coaching in the
coaching?
business world for over 25 years. The
Wow.
hypnotherapy I'm in my 5th year
Oh, wow.
of practice,
Yeah,
and yeah, plan to do it for a really long time.
yeah. So, people can like, people in the audience, in the chat, they could r like, reach out. We tried to put your website, but you're having some issues with the website on the, in the chat, but they can reach you on Instagram, correct? Where
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
On
eh
Instagram, Tannis Butters, the hypnosiscoach.ca. And
okay,
that is also my website as well, thehypnosiscoach.ca.
yeah, Tannis Butters, I'm gonna have to say it. Are you related to Butters from South Park? I
My
told you I
my
wasn't gonna do
children
it, but I just have to because you said your last name, not me.
my children almost named our first dog Butters.
Oh, every time I hear that name Butters, I always think of the character from South Park, so it does make sense.
Yeah, yes.
But I do need to run to the washroom. This is the point, guys in the chat. If you have any questions for Tannis, this is the time to go on in there and ask her any questions. She'll be happy to answer and take over the chat for a few minutes while I go on a break. Take it
Mhm.
away, Tannis.
Don't be shy. Well, maybe while somebody's thinking of a question, let me just see here. I'm just watching my chat screen on my computer here, and it's lagging behind a little bit. But maybe while somebody's brave enough to think up a question, maybe I can share another story or two of things that I've witnessed. I have one client, and I share this with her permission because we've talked about this many times. She suffered, the greatest loss that a parent could when her daughter was murdered, and you can imagine uh, the the pain of that. And I was fortunate enough to be part of her healing journey. And by no means, there was just so many different pieces to that that went into that. Um, but she was able to find her footing again. And what's remarkable is not only finding her footing and her way back to, I'll say, living and finding some joy again, but finding, this greater sense of purpose and putting her pain into passion for helping others. And so she's now created this charity, and she's just getting going where she's going to be this wonderful resource to other children. And yeah, it's just a wonderful testament to what you can do, how you can turn pain into purpose and joy. And so I am so grateful. Her name is Dana, and Dana, if you're watching or you watch this, I'm so grateful for you, and for being part of my journey.
That's nice. Tannis, now that you have been, well, we did discuss one story, but I would like to know, did you have any humorous or funny things that you must have had a funny story that happened when you were doing hypnosis where it maybe turned a funny corner?
Hmm. Well, not during hypnosis, um, but I did have a call, and upon reflection, I think it might have been from a radio station, but I didn't, connect at the time. And so I got this call, and they were asking, what sounded like some pretty legitimate questions about hypnosis and my
Mhm.
services and so forth. And then it turned into, I have an erectile dysfunction issue, and can hypnosis help with that? And yeah, I really was quite stunned. I tried to be professional about it.
Right?
And then I tried to get off the phone as quickly as I could. And then I thought, like, am I being pranked here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when you put yourself out there, you just never know.
you never know.
You never know what's going to happen. You'll be like, "Wait a minute, what? What?" Yeah, exactly. You start thinking, "Was I pranked? What's happening here?" Yeah, it's very funny, like, and so you, have clients, I guess, all over the globe and so forth. Do they come to you on a regular basis, or is this just like a one-time thing?
I never see clients on a one-time basis. Generally,
Oh,
it's, a minimum of 3 times. I usually like to see people at least 5 times. And
okay.
some clients I have visit on a regular basis,
Mhm.
once a month,
Okay.
have a standing appointment, and they just like that
Mhm.
hypnosis makes them feel balanced and able to handle whatever comes their way. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, so it really depends. But
mhm.
yes, I do see clients all over the globe. I only speak English, so, wherever English is spoken. But
Mhm.
yes, I see people from far
Oh,
and wide.
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to have a session with you. I gotta try it. I really have
Well,
to try it.
I had a session with you.
Pardon me?
I said, I've had a session with you.
Oh, yes, yes, the tarot back in the
Yeah,
day.
and it was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, we have, and that was a group, was, that introduced me to your tribe there. They're really nice people too, they're really
Yeah,
awesome, love
there.
them all. I see them all the time, and I just like, as a matter of fact, Gail had messaged me for a reading, and I did her reading, via FaceTime, and we had such a good time. She's such a nice lady. Just all of you guys are nice. Like that's why I like the coalition idea, right? We all just, stick with like-minded people because we're the kind of people who look to help uplift humanity and society. We're not looking to complain about it, or like we all complain, but we're not looking to dwell on what's wrong. We're trying to find answers and ways to lift humanity up, and whatever ability, talents, or anything we have, we're going to use those tools in order to do so. And when we interact with one another, those tools can help even because we need uplifting too, right? We need to have sessions with other people, and that's why I think it's like, keep it bartering, even, keep it all going, and just keep us all our energy uplifted, and so that we can work to help uplift the world and the people around us. It just takes one person. You don't have to be, like Dr. Joe Dispenza to help people, or Esther Hicks. You can just be one person who connects with another person who connects with another person. And then we can go across the globe like that, because we do have that advantage nowadays with social media and stuff like this. We can connect instantly
Absolutely.
with people everywhere. And I did have a woman reach out to me when I first started my channel. I was having some health issues at the time, and she reached out to me. She was in New York. She had a group that they did a radio healing thing. And it's funny, her name was Rosemary Healer. And I don't know if that was her real last name, but it was kind of befitting. She was a healer. And she had a whole group, and she said, "Do you mind if we do a meditation? I'll call you on a certain day and this time. You just put your phone there, and I want you to go under." I think it was like a hypnosis or meditation thing. And then she just let me, she listened, like, she told me what to do. She gave me some instructions, and this is what I did. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, this is interesting." And it went on for about an hour, and the
Mm,
whole group, they were on a radio connected to each other all across the globe, and they were all doing this sort of meditation prayer thing or
mhm.
whatever. And it really helped me, it really did. So this is what and she didn't know me from Adam. She just knew me from the channel. She just messaged me. I never met her to this day. We never met. We never talked face to face, only through emails and through this thing. Sorry, my producer here just connects with client. How does she connect with client?
Mhm.
Does she get scared at times? Okay, I guess somebody had a question for
No,
you.
that's the question I asked.
Oh, that's your
I
question?
want to
Okay.
know.
You wanna know, he wants to know, do you ever get scared when you're dealing with clients?
I
Do
have
you e
no, I have never felt scared dealing with a client.
Mhm.
And I think it's probably a combination of things. It's, my own personal beliefs around protection,
Okay.
that kind of thing. Um, and, as you talked about earlier, it's about going in, with the best of intentions of helping. And
Right.
so, I consider myself a guide, really,
Okay.
simply a guide, and it's up to somebody how far they want to go or are willing to go. Um,
But
so
you
no,
never got, like, frightened by something they were telling you or something
no,
you yeah, you never, I guess, got contacted by mass murderers or anything like that?
no, knock on wood.
Exactly. Let's knock on wood on that one. I've had a few sketchy clients that I'm not really sure where they were coming from, but I like to take people at their word, and I always try to think the best of people, even though sometimes my instinct tells me something's a little bit different here, but I
Yeah.
just try and take them at their word and so forth, and
But,
that's what we have to do. If at the end of the day we find out that there's something else going on here, we just need to. I have this saying that, you know what, nothing is wrong until the moment it is. And that's what I always tell myself when I start to get anxious and worried. I always tell myself, like, is there any immediate threat? Is there anything going on in this moment? No, because nothing matters right now. There is nothing wrong
yes.
until the moment it is, and then you react. That's part of living in the moment.
Yeah.
And when you do that, then you can react perfectly. If you are actually legit living in the moment, you can react perfectly to any scenario that life throws at you. The problem, anxiety comes from living in the future, trying to think of what to do, and in case this happens or in case that worst case scenario. That's where our anxiety comes from. If we don't
Complete.
do right? If we don't do that and we just live in the moment, you see these, I keep going back to the monks, but you see these monks and they never worry about anything. It's just like when the moment comes, I'll react. Other
And
than that,
I really live by that. There, when I say this, I really mean it. There's very little I worry about. And you and I, had a quick chat yesterday in preparation for today to tell me how to log on and all this.
Mhm.
And I shared that, I don't love, public speaking. And you said, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "No, because I'm not even going to think about it until
Right.
right
The
before."
day it come yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
And
how I
that's
am, right? But that's, hypnosis has
Mhm.
really helped me with that because it strengthens your intuition and it takes you to a
Mhm.
peaceful, balanced place. And the more that you're there, the more that you don't need to live in the future in an anxious state, as you pointed out.
Right, yes. And you know what? You being a Capricorn, okay, you guys, first of all, that's why I was like thinking, well, Tannis is a Capricorn. You guys do great under pressure. Any Capricorn I ever known in my life that gets thrown right up there to try to do something, they come across perfect. They may be nervous as all hell, but they don't show it. They come across very cool and
Yeah.
calm and collected.
And that's the feedback, and that's a really great point because that's the feedback I always had from observers who were watching me speak. They were always like, "Oh, you're calm, you're cool."
Mhm.
But I
Right.
didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And, it was really out of alignment for me because in all other areas of my life, I generally feel calm and composed.
Right.
So for me, there was such a stark contrast there when it came to public speaking that I really felt misaligned. And we talk about anxious, like that was me. So it wasn't so much about how I came across.
Came
It was
across, right? It was how you were feeling internally, and
uh,
you didn't wanna feel like that when you went
right.
out there. So that makes perfect sense, and I would be the same way, absolutely be the same way. You Capricorns are cool under pressure every single time. You throw like, well, my husband is a Capricorn, and he's always worried about everything, and it's like, "Come on, seriously?" The minute you get into it, you're gonna be composed as all hell. But he's nervous, and I understand that, and you don't wanna feel that way. If you have the choice to feel comfortable doing something that even though you'll do okay as far as people are concerned, if you have the choice to feel comfortable doing that, wouldn't you wanna do that? Absolutely, right? For sure, and that's where you went with it, and I think that's great. Meditation has helped a lot with me myself. I was like the queen of high anxiety, through the roof, like years before my journey into spirituality and meditation. I was just a ball of nerves, and I would send myself into a frenzy. I would send myself into panic attacks. I would send myself into like shaking where I was physically, I couldn't be controlled. I was so nervous and so scared, or just not wanting to deal with things and just put my head, under the covers and just be depressed. But
Yeah.
I learned that we can deal with all of this stuff. We just need to have the tools.
Yeah,
So
and
we
I love that because, that's certainly not you today, and it's proof of how people can shift and grow, right? You don't need to stay
yeah,
stuck, and that's the whole, point of this. You don't need to stay stuck.
absolutely. And also, I feel that when I learned how to cope with all of this stuff, it just made life a lot better. I could live more in the moment and really enjoy it, and finally develop this philosophy of, nothing's wrong until the moment it is. And I have this certain confidence now that when it does come up, I will just deal with it. It really isn't life or death the way I used to think it was. Talk therapy, we talked about this before, you and I, and talk therapy, we can talk till we're blue in the face. And sometimes people have been in talk therapy for like 20 years. I knew a woman who was in therapy for literally 20 years. It didn't help her at all. So, you know what I mean? It's like if you can use other things, other tools such as meditation, hypnosis that actually will help, then why not do that rather than like this woman spent a lot of money over 20 years of talk therapy. And I don't know, I think she went through two different therapists because one retired during the middle of this because she was there so long. Who goes to therapy for 20 years?
Yeah,
But you
lots
know,
lots of people, lots of people, you know,
yeah,
and that raises a good point. When people work with me, it's never the intention is never to work together forever.
Mhm.
My goal is to work with you, over a few sessions and certainly sporadically, but it's
Right.
it's not meant to be, this long-term engagement.
Mhm.
It's meant to be the thing that helps you get over the hump and
All right.
get moving in a healthier direction.
We're here for a good time,
Yeah.
not a long time. Yeah, let's just move this along in a good way, leave you in a good place, and then we'll move on from there.
Yes. Yes.
I was wondering, Tannis, I don't know, you can say yes or no to this, but is there any way you could do a little bit of a hypnosis thing here? But I mean, if you're not feeling it, it's okay. I don't know how you feel about this. I just thought I'd throw it out there and ask. Do you
Uh,
have like a little 5 minute, ten
yeah,
minute type of
I
thing?
so, I will, with this, preamble. Um, when you work with me, uh, everything is one-on-one and it's tailored to you specifically. I don't follow scripts, and I don't, it's not a one size fits all thing. So
You
I
don't you don't
it,
do this. You
no,
are getting
no,
sleepy.
but I just want to say that because obviously, what we're going to do shortly isn't specific to anyone for a specific
Right.
reason. But what it would do is give you a sense of maybe what hypnosis feels like for a brief period. Um, and, for you, Star, this will be, sort of akin to a meditation, short
Okay.
little meditation. Okay, so
Anything I'm up for anything, and I'm sure everybody in the audience would be up for anything that will bring peace.
okay, and so let that be our goal,
Okay,
is bring a
sounds
little peace to one another, to
mhm,
ourselves for the rest of the evening, and or any time of day that somebody might be watching this.
do
And
that.
um, I'll also say that, if anybody by chance is listening to this while they're driving or operating any machinery, this is not for you. This
Yes,
this is
turn the
absolutely,
volume off. Turn the
yeah.
volume. Yeah.
You need to be in a safe, comfortable place, where you can close your eyes, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Everybody, to please close your eyes now.
All right, everyone in the chat, close your eyes unless you're driving.
Okay. I'd like you all to take in some nice, deep, cleansing breaths. In through the nose if you can, and out through the mouth. And Star, that's just, you're doing it beautifully, by the way. The kind of breaths that expand the diaphragm, because when you expand the diaphragm, you're actually sending this beautiful unspoken signal to the brain that you are safe and everything is okay. And that's exactly where you are at this point in time, that you're feeling okay. And so I'd like you all just to allow your breath to return to a nice, comfortable rhythm. Whatever feels comfortable for you is exactly perfect for you in this moment. And I'd like you just to begin to feel your body settling in to your chair or your sofa or your bed, wherever you find yourself. Just feeling yourself anchoring in, settling in, and just let the body fall comfortably relaxed. And in a moment, I'm going to begin to count down from the number 5 all the way down to the number 1. And your only task now, with every number I count and with every beautiful breath that you take, is to simply relax. Just allow yourself to relax. And you know the feeling of relaxation, so just allow yourself to find that feeling again. To just feel so comfortable that you just want to stay there. Let's begin. Already feeling relaxed and comfortable, starting with 5 and going down all the way to the number 4, allowing that feeling of relaxation just to take over, taking all the time you need to feel wonderfully comfortable and relaxed in your body and soon your mind. to just travel all the way down to the comfortable number 3. And even further down to number 2, and all the way down to the number 1. And you're doing beautifully. And now, in this beautiful, comfortable, safe place, this space in your mind, I want you to think about a great, beautiful memory that you have. And for each of you, it'll be different. Find that memory that brings a smile to your face. And I'd like you to see it and experience it again as though it's happening to you right now. If you can see color in your mind, I want you to make it colorful and bright and joyous. Beautiful. And I'd like you to experience that beautiful feeling, that beautiful memory again in your body. What does it feel like to be there, experiencing it again? And you see, this is the power of your mind to allow you to revisit the beautiful places and spaces and let it live within you. And now I want you to put one of your hands over your heart space. While your eyes are closed, place it on your heart space and just connect. Connect with the beating of your heart, your beautiful breath flowing comfortably in and out, carrying this clean, fresh oxygen to all parts of your body. And this beautiful memory. And feel how good it feels to be there now. And so I want this beautiful feeling to stay with you for the rest of the day and tomorrow and tomorrow and the next tomorrow. And in fact, anytime you need a little boost, I want you to think about this memory and this feeling and let yourself just feel wonderful. And isn't it wonderful to feel wonderful? On the count of 3, I want you to take one of those nice, beautiful breaths in and just come back into the space and the here and now right with me. 1, 2, and 3. Nice deep breath in. Hello.
Oh, wow. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Tannis.
Well,
I just felt the whole stress of the day
beautiful.
leave me, the whole stress of the month just leave me. I feel so calm, and I had a wonderful memory back to a certain Christmas where I really, really felt great, and I felt safe and secure, and uh, thank you. And yes, when you said the part about the color, I totally saw the green Christmas tree, the different colors on the bulbs, and the colorful wrapping paper, and even the color of the rug. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, uh, it was
And
wonderful.
so in a full hypnosis session, it's amazing what you can see and feel
I can
and,
imagine.
work out. I'll say work out the kinks and work out, any of the pain or the trauma or whatever it is that you want to work on. And
Just as you said, work out the kinks, I just felt a kink, like I had a kink in my neck and it's gone. So funny. Also, too, I noticed that when I've had really good meditation sessions too, and it just happened right now with your hypnosis, I can see clearer. Is that a common thing where your eyesight gets more crystal clear? It's like I can
yeah,
see colors better. I can see things around me much better. Maybe it's aware. I don't know what is that. Do you know what that is that makes people feel?
yeah.
Uh,
So,
what-
different people experience different things in hypnosis. Highly creative people often talk about things being so much brighter and clearer. Uh,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, it's incredible. And just before I logged on today, in my mind, I wrote down a list. I'm going to read it to you because this is what's reminding me of sort of my top 10 favorite things about hypnosis. Number one, it calms the nervous system. Number two, it increases neuroplasticity. So
Mhm.
your ability to change your brain and to grow and learn improves with hypnosis.
Nice.
It builds resilience,
Mhm.
shifts perspective to the positive or the helpful.
Mm.
It stimulates creativity. When you said the colors,
Oh,
often artists and creatives talk about, this burst of creativity that they have following hypnosis. To go write a book or to go paint a painting or
mhm.
whatever it is.
I totally feel that right now. If it wasn't so late, I would pull up my paints and I start painting because I really feel creative juice happening right now.
Number 6 on my list, it restores mind body connection because we
Mm.
can often get out of sync with our bodies. And so, if we're stressed, sickness might show up in our body,
Mhm.
right? And number 7, it strengthens your intuition. And
Mm.
you talked about, I feel more clear.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It gets rid of the clutter.
It does, and I feel more in tune with the moment. It's like I'm looking around this same room that I was looking around a half an hour ago, and I'm seeing it differently.
Yes.
So there's clarity there. There's more in the moment
Mhm.
stuff going on. So yeah, it's so helpful. What about the people in the chat? Were you guys doing this as well? I'm back with speaking to life coach. Hypnosis is amazing. Love it. So, any of you in the chat, did you guys have? Did you do the um, the hypnosis with us? Because I totally went right in as soon as you started doing it. Like I told you, I was addicted to meditation, right? So I was like, "She's doing this. I'm going all in."
And I
No,
mean, a normal hypnosis, I'm normal. A usual hypnosis session is, nearly an hour long, and we did,
right? Yeah.
2 minutes. So,
Yes, I know, but even 2 minutes. And this is the thing I found too, when I got into the whole meditation stuff, they always say, like the meditation coaches and that say that you get better at it, and it's so true.
yeah,
The more you do it. So the more I did it, the more I did it. Now I can just really get a huge benefit from a 5-minute session or a 2-minute session because I can go deep real quick.
me
And
too.
it's something that a lot of people say, "I can't do meditation, my mind wanders and everything." Yeah, my mind wandered too in the beginning. I just kept doing it and kept doing it. It's like anything else. It's like learning to ride a bike. It's like learning to swim or anything. You just have to keep doing it, and then
That
it
that's
gets better, it
yeah. For
gets
me,
easier.
I'm in hypnosis like, just like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
over.
exactly, it's for you, and so we get the benefits of that's why learning these tools, no matter how you're learning them, as long as you're learning them, will benefit you throughout your entire life.
Yeah,
No matter what situation you're in, you will learn how to self-soothe, you will learn how to gain control over your emotions that are getting out of control, you will learn how to I can put myself under into a meditation
yes.
pretty quickly if I need to. If I'm spiraling out of control, I
Mhm.
can do that because I have the tools. I didn't always. I had to learn those tools. I
Yes.
had to go to other
It
people.
it it calms an overactive brain.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes,
Mhm.
and that's why sometimes I have to deal just like you have to deal with people who are spiraling out of control. When they call me, they're just like, "Oh my god," and they're stressed, and I gotta try and get them to calm down, and that's why I send them meditation tapes and so forth. It's like, "Please, please do this, learn this so that you will learn how to self-soothe." Because what if I'm not the available? You're not available, other people are not available. You need to know these tools so that you can learn how to do them for yourself,
Absolutely.
right? Absolutely. Wow, that was so great. Yeah, the people in the chat are sure liking it. Yeah, this has been a really amazing session. I was hoping that you would do one of hypnosis. It was a short one, but thank you so much for that. You're really good at it, by the way. Your voice is very soothing and calming, and you have such a calming presence about you. It's no wonder you're really good at what you do, you know?
Thank you.
So, I just don't know what to say. I mean, I could sit here and go into hypnosis for the whole night, but I'm gonna have to restrain myself and let you go and get back to your life. It is, Sunday evening, but thanks so much for joining us here, Tannis, and I would love to have you back on the show again sometime.
I'd love to. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for having me. And, if anybody has any questions, please reach out. And it's been a real pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. Just reach out to Tana. She is on Instagram, and she will definitely be happy to. You can message her on Instagram or send her an email, and she'll definitely get back to you. Wonderful woman. Thanks again, Tanis. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, Jared. Take care.
Okay, bye bye for now. You'll have to sign yourself out.
Okay, will do. Bye.
Okay, because I can't do it. Okay, good night, Tanis. Okay. Okay, so I guess that was it for my guest. What did y'all think of her? I thought she was absolutely amazing. Very calming human being, a very wonderful human being. Like I know her; she's a personal friend of mine that I met about a year ago, and just I can't say enough wonderful things about her. I love that she came on the show. She took the time to do this, and I wanted you all to meet her and to benefit from what she's doing. So yeah, okay, Amanda, it was beautiful. Okay, I don't know if you ever answered me when I asked you how your birthday celebrations this weekend, Amanda. But CC, nice to see you in the chat, and Susan. What else did I miss here? Mama Bear, of course. Okay, nice. So, I guess, I'm Hungry Now was the only mod in the room tonight. So, do you guys want to, give him a a great, hurrah? Thumbs up, hurrah, hand claps, whatever.
Hand claps, hand claps.
Hand
My
claps.
PC was acting funny. Sorry, folks.
But he did a great job here. He was the only bouncer in the room tonight, but he did an amazing job. And thank you all for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope you had a great Sunday night. Really enjoyed doing this. Don't know who my guest next weekend will be, but I'm working on a couple of different peeps, but I'm sure you will enjoy it because I know I'm enjoying it. I love seeing all of you guys coming back every week, and I want to I want to wish each and every one of you a wonderful week ahead. The February bonus readings will be out on the channel in a couple of days, so probably on Tuesday they will be released. And other than that, I don't think I have any news to share with you. I'm feeling really good. I hope you all are feeling really good from that nice little hypnosis that she was nice enough to bring to us tonight. But I know I'm feeling really refreshed and really good. So thank you all again. We'll see you again next time on Star Lordess Podcast. Take care and good night, everybody.